Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to. Yeah.
Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, one of a kind, What's on your mind, We're hard to find, Beautiful mind, Still in my prime, Just know that I'm here.
What's up, guys? Pondoff's Anonymous, episode 38.
Yes.
38.
Does it sound different?
That'll be a rhetorical question to the listener.
Yeah.
Because right now I can't tell.
We're doing our first ever remote episode.
Outside.
That's right.
Beautiful Bellevue Park. I think it's still called Bellevue Park. In Belleville, Illinois, the capital of the world. World peace will come from Belleville, Illinois.
It's beautiful out today.
It actually won't. But alcoholism and drug addiction will.
Yeah.
And a lot of fucking STDs. Which I, believe it or not, Jeff, dodged some bullets.
That's good.
They check you in rehab.
Oh.
And had I, I'm a degenerate gambler, I would have probably taken the over on maybe the number of. I'm getting a little graphic and personal here.
Right, yeah.
But for the listeners, I'm
Kids running around here.
clean
Chris.
as a drop. There is episode 38, guys. This is a special one. 38 is the number of the late great Pablo Mitra. Jeff called me a numbers guy this morning, so I am kind of a numbers guy. So.
Super numbers guy.
Pablo Mitra, number 38. God rest his soul. He was a star for the Blues.
Okay. That name sounds
back
familiar.
in the early 2000s, and he actually died tragically in a plane crash that killed a whole team of hockey players out in Russia. Yeah, I think another Igor Korolev was another guy that was on that. That was an ex-Blue.
Huh.
But anyway, enough about numbers. And the reason we're sitting here at a picnic table in Bellevue Park, it would have been, and I don't want to say 8th annual, but it would have been our 8th Out of the Darkness walk. Mm-hmm. Out of the Darkness is a nonprofit that raises awareness for suicide and suicide prevention. And they're doing great things, and they're tackling such a dark and sometimes taboo subject. Mm-hmm. And when I say 8th annual, there might have been, I'm sure this was going on before we, and my extended family, had to jump into this because it'll be 8 years since a brother of mine, Randy Hoff, we call him Jack, obviously, his older brother that committed suicide. And since then, we've started as a extended family, and I knew his name was Randy Hoff. He was a vibrant, great person. I loved him. He was. We'll talk a lot about Randy today, and it's why we're here. But the reason I bring it up is about it being the 8th annual. I'm sure it's been going on longer, and when suicide hits your circle, then you start paying attention. Unfortunately, that's I think one thing we're going to talk about today. A lot of things are like this, but I think suicide especially because for me personally, and I've said this on every episode that I'm so imperfect, but you hear somebody, even as a little kid, you remember hearing a story of somebody committing suicide, and it crunches my stomach up a little bit, and it adds such a layer of darkness to a already had someone passed of a different cause of death. And it's similar with overdoses, and they all are tied in, but it's even more so in my, I feel in my observations that there's an added level of darkness, of stigma, because of the stigma, which is what created, and hence the name, the group that I don't personally. I didn't not much. I would like to be more part of it, but I'm a part of it is in supporting Randy, and I think of that when I think of their name, is breaking stigma and helping people realize that it doesn't have to. This isn't it shouldn't be so. This extra dark. It's already a dark, brutal fucking time for friends, families, and fucking parents of kids that do this, or kids of parents that feel there's no way out. So
That's right.
It's a tough thing to even talk about, but that's what we're here today is fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
And realize that it's a mental health crisis.
Yeah.
I was talking with Ash on the way over here, Jeff, and you and I both talk about our faith pretty often on this, and I'm a dogmatic fucking Jesus follower and lover, and I don't even get that right, but somewhere, somehow, it's been twisted that if you commit suicide, you're condemned to hell, and that's fucking bullshit.
Right.
Every fucking thinks that or says it. I understand it from if you use it as a scare tactic, because to a loved one or a child, or maybe that's like a last straw or a line of offense against something that's so hard to get your hands around. So you say that hoping that'll keep someone from ending their own life.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the people that will condemn someone to hell. Like, who the fuck do they think they are to condemn anyone?
Yeah.
They aren't shit. You know?
Exactly.
And I can't stand that. It gives fucking Christians such a bad fucking name. But when you think about it, Jesus fucking committed suicide. So
He gave his life. That's
fucking ass.
Yeah.
And that adds to the stigma, and that's what it fires me up and angers me, that when people use.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff, without getting too into it, you see people use Christianity to fuck people left and right, and it pisses, especially from guys that are in that club.
Yeah.
It pisses us off.
Yeah.
And this is one of the areas that. It's hard. It's hard to explain. It's hard work to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it is a brutal topic, and it's dark. It's gut wrenching. It's heartbreaking when it happens. And even you go to funerals that are a funeral of a person that committed suicide. I pointed out Charlie Curse's on the way here.
Mm-hmm.
My last funeral, Charlie Curse, was a suicide funeral. There is a. I'm just going to call it like it is. There's a decrease in fucking attendance, and there's a level of darkness over it.
Yeah.
Because of the taboo nature of this shit.
Yeah.
And that's got to stop. Yeah. That's got to stop. When somebody has to do this to end the fucking pain. We're talking about pain that you and I, Jeff, don't even know. We can't even imagine.
Right.
We struggle with our anxiety and our depression, but this is that on fucking steroids out the ass, and then some. Like, it's such a unimaginable pain. Here's Ray bringing over some candy.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
Candy with Randy.
Candy with Randy. I like it. Ray is Randy's father, and he's been here every year, and he hasn't changed a bit since I've known him as a kid. But he just brought over some candy bars, and I think I'll get into that because this is my cheat weekend, Jeff.
And the right.
And yeah,
We won't go there today.
And it's red. Randy's. I think Randy's hat is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jeff doesn't like it. It says Trump. But yeah, man, that's why we're here today, and it's a fucking beautiful day. Kids are playing in the park. There's a lot of us gathered. They canceled the walk that we talked about. It's every year this time. It's like what is today, the second or third Saturday of October? That's when they have it.
Yeah. So,
and I don't know about you guys, but it's my favorite time of year is the fall in this part of the country.
Yep. Leaves are changing. It's gorgeous.
And if you don't know, I'm a little husky. I can eat fucking chili every day, and I can eat turkey chili.
Yeah.
White chicken chili.
Yeah.
I could eat chili all fucking winter. Jeff, you had chili last night.
I had chili, and I still feel it today.
That might have been the extracurriculars you guys were enjoying as a non-alcoholic.
That's right. Yeah.
So they canceled it, but Ryan Jack Hoff, he wanted to still get together with the group. Team Randy, we call it. We all have. Randy was a big outdoors guy and a hunter. If you can't tell, Jeff, by the camouflage shirts that we're all wearing with Randy's name on it.
Mm-hmm.
His he loved the outdoors. He was a typical. Always had a fucking tool belt on, you know.
Yeah.
And his brother's the same way. They've, in fact, after the show, I'm gonna figure out how to fucking manipulate Jack into doing some shit at our new house. So he's ready for that. But Hoff got with us all and said, hey, let's still come out and get together. And there's a bunch of balloons that at the end of the get together we all release into the sky. And normally, non-COVID, there's thousands of people here at this park, all of different colored T-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, and being probably a Southern Illinois Belleville chapter, if you will, of this mission. Unfortunately, I know quite a few of the families and their stories. And normally we're all, everybody's got the shirts, and it's a huge 5K walk. You can run if you like, but I assure you that I don't run fucking anywhere. I used to be an athlete. I fucking retired. I'll walk and I'll get on one of these candy bars. It's for Randy. You gotta eat it, right? So
I ran once and fell down, got gravel all in my leg, and figured that
was all she wrote.
I figured that exercising is bad for you.
It is.
After that happened.
I mean, the bad thing happened to people in the fucking gym.
Yeah.
I know I have some personal stories that I probably shouldn't share, but yeah, that's bad. Like, you always hear about a guy fucking going down in the gym, and that's the end of it.
That's right.
You know.
I end up on the juice though too. Some of them.
Right. Next thing you know, little nuts, big must, big must, little nuts. Steroids. Although I know the power of steroids now. When I was talking about my fucking gout, I'm telling you. I take a couple of those prednisones, and I mean, then I come down and I have fucking roid rage. Ashley, I'll bring her on. She said if you do that, she's leaving the park without me.
Yeah.
And I'm done. But we do have an exciting guest coming up. And I don't know if exciting is the right word with everything that's going on and the reason that we're here at the park. But Mrs. Julie Hoff, who I grew up with, was all of our moms were like each other's moms, and you're growing up and raising hell at everybody's house. And she's agreed to come on today and talk a little bit, share her thoughts on how she feels about suicide, and honor her son Randy. And that's what we're here to do.
Yep.
It's to honor Randy, honor his family, honor the other families that know exactly what the fuck we're talking about. Like, we don't even have to say anything of substance.
Yeah.
They get it. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to try to say some things that are of substance, but when you know.
Yeah.
And just know that you're not alone. And keep fucking screaming it out, because it can destroy a family. And there are ways, there are ways to get in front of it. As bad as the mental health can take over, there are ways to get in front of it and prevent it from happening.
That's right.
But I also want to remind you, if it does happen, nobody's fucking condemned to hell by another fucking human being.
Yeah.
I don't even know about the whole hell shit anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah, neither. Yeah.
So
I don't think about it.
You know what I mean? It's people that say that, go fuck yourself, but I love you because I'm supposed to love you. Love thy neighbor shit. Right?
Yeah, right.
People that say it, people that weaponize it is who I'm telling to fuck off. I can sit and listen to stories of people that believe in that will say that as they'll do anything to prevent their child from hurting themselves, and if that's a way you got to do it, then I don't know if it's right, but
right.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've been in your shoes. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that being said, we're gonna welcome Julie to the show, and she's over there visiting with her friends and family. So we're going to take a quick pause. I'm going to go get her, and we'll mic her up and hear what she has to say. I just try not to fucking. I got sunglasses on, so that's good. But she's a strong woman, and that's an understatement. So we'll be right back, guys. All right. Okay, guys, we're back, and we. This is a big one for me, a big guest, because I grew up in her house. I wouldn't say I was the terrorizer as much as your two sons were. Right, Julie?
Right.
When those two would get in a fight, I mean, it's like you just get out of the way because something is getting broken. Somebody and they would go at it sometimes. It would.
I have a story about that real quick.
Good.
And they were older, and they were fighting, fist fighting. And I'm going to get, little old me is going to get in between them.
Right.
And Randy socked me in the eye. I mean, I should have got stitches, but I didn't. And Ryan's, you hit my mommy.
I'm sure you felt that. Randy was both of them are big kids, and for being such a tiny ball of fire you are. Julie, welcome. This is it's really an honor and a pleasure having you on. Julie is, as you guys can tell, Randy's mother, and I'll call him Brian because that's what you named him. It's like my mother told me, and I told her I was having you on. She's like, you better not refer to him as Jack.
Oh.
She named him Ryan, and it's inappropriate. So it's an honor to be here. Before you came on, Jeff and I were talking about, and if you listen to the episode, I get a little colorful about the stigma and how there's an added layer to, really an added layer of darkness that I think the stigma has created when someone passes away due to their own hand, and it kind of pisses me off. And I was telling Jeff too that it doesn't. Unfortunately, this is unfortunately how I learned personally, but once it hits in your circle, it changes you. And that's kind of what we were talking about before coming on. And
Well, that's a good place to start because that's kind of, when it happened, the first thing I did was seek out a support group. And I went there too soon because I went and poured my heart out. And they said, when did it happen? And I'm like, last week. And they're like, oh, you should give yourself some time. But I learned a lot because 8 years ago, suicide was not a word that you heard. It was taboo, suicide.
right.
And I just found it very uncomfortable trying to tell people how he died. And I'm talking to the counselor there at the support group, and I said, what? I can't say he committed suicide. I mean, that just sounds so awful. And she says, you don't say that. You say he died by suicide. And that made it seem a better way to live with it. And the group, you think, what does AFSP do? And you talk about awareness and suicide's still going on, but people are talking about it more, and it's not such a taboo thing. I know someone, you know someone, they know someone, everybody knows someone that has had that happen in their life. And I'm mental health comes into that,
Yes, it does.
and you never think of mental health was the problem for a suicide. You know, he was either drunk or depressed, but depressed, that's not really mental health. You think, when you think mental health, you think schizophrenic, psycho, that kind of thing. But as we talk more and more about it, you realize that all these feelings that you have and your psyche and your mental state is all part of your mental health. It's just as important as your physical well-being. You know, you work out your body, you have to work out your mind and keep it open and talking. And I'm the last person to tell, you know, that can say you need to talk, because I am not a talker. I don't like small talk. I don't really, I'll talk to strangers. If I have something to say, I'll say it. I just don't like mundane talk. And this whole mental health issue and talking, it just kind of comes naturally.
You should be you are the best person to talk about it, because just what you said, that you're not a talker, and so those are the people we're talking to, are not talkers, that don't know that it's how powerful it is. And so you telling, it makes you had said you should be the last person, like you should be the first person, because those are the ones that are the talking, that have been vulnerable and shared their stories with support groups. Name that support group. They get it now. But the ones we're talking to, you're right. They're just like Julie. They're just like I was. And so you recognize how powerful it is.
Exactly. And I can't emphasize that enough, that there's a lot of groups out there that try to help with, you know, and support all kinds of issues. And suicide is one big one. I mean, in my neighborhood, it's full of military personnel, and they're constantly talking about the military suicides, you know, and it's young kids. My brother got a call last night from his son, and his friend, partner in business, little brother, 17 years old, just killed himself.
Yeah.
And it's like this, you know, how weird is that? I mean, because we're doing this and then it just happens, and it's so close to home again. And it's like, why are people choosing that way? And it's very easy. I have to say, I mean, I've been depressed. I've been there. If you don't know how many times I would think of how I would do it. You know, what would be the best way? And then you think of, well, how are they going to find you? What would be the best way not to find any, you know, gruesome things? And then it kind of, you know, you just kind of blow it off to the next day. But I went through that a long, long time, and I can see where a person gets so low that they don't, you know, that there's, well, who cares? You know, who cares if I'm here or not? And that's why people always have to just take a really good look at the person next to you. You know, like riding on a bus. Look at that person and just, you know, picture what's going through their mind. You know, what kind of life do they have? And everybody should just start treating people like human beings. And I'm getting off on a rant.
No, I love what you're saying, and wait, before you came on, Jeff and I were talking. We've talked often on this podcast about, you know, it's a mental health recovery podcast. At the end of the day, we talk about addiction, we talk about recovery, we talk about our mental health. Jeff's been very open about his battle with anxiety. And we were talking about it, and we know how bad it feels on that level, and we can't imagine how the pain that someone is in with a struggling with mental health, that is gut wrenching. Like, to think, because we've been depressed, and I told him it's like depressed from what people have told me, that like you just said, that have experienced this. We're talking chronic depression, right? And the hurt that feels like I've never felt it, but I've heard stories, especially being a part of this group through Andy, and it's unimaginable. But when I hear the stories, it makes you realize how much pain someone was in, and it hurts you. Your heart hurts for that person. So I see what you're saying. You know, you never know if a kind word or a something nice to a stranger can change a trajectory of someone's life.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're right. There's a lot of fucking vitriol. Pardon my French. There's a lot of vitriol out there now, especially with everybody has a voice now on social media. And it can become a real ugly. I call it the toilet bowl of human creation. You mentioned earlier about, you said the acronym AFSP, and pardon me, Jeff, at the beginning, talking about the Out of Darkness Walk. It's hosted by that foundation. That's the nonprofit. It stands for
American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
And that's the name, and of the group that puts us together. And can you talk a little bit about that organization and how they offer support?
I mean, they have a website, and they have groups and organizations all over the United States. Every city, like, Edwardsville
Sure.
has their own, everybody has their own groups. But now with the COVID, they're doing a lot of virtual,
right,
and virtual classes, and like I did a Zoom class that it just is telling you what to look for and how to handle it. Things, they just have every number, they just want you to get together, keep talking, and the awareness. I mean, they've got brochures and booklets and all the reading material that you could ask for on the subject. And they've got the counselors and volunteers, people that they can put you with people who can help you. And I mean, I don't, the people that they put me with for my group is for the Carla Smith Foundation.
Okay.
Are you familiar with
No,
them?
I think I've heard of it through just chatting with you, but if you could.
It's in Belleville, O'Fallon, and it's the father and mother, and they're both psychologists, and he has written many books, and one very good book on how to deal with grieving. And they're the ones that I went to their support group, and they do so much. I mean, your help is out there, whether you want grief counseling or if you need help because you're in trouble or your friend's in trouble, or, they can give you the information and the help that you need.
And we'll share that link on our show notes, so it goes out when we release this episode on Monday. It's, I can't imagine the I don't want to say club, but it's almost like a club of being a parent of a child that died by suicide. And I like that, what you said. The word committed is almost inflammatory when you think about someone's suicide. I never thought of it until just now.
Oh,
It's like an inflammatory. It's almost a shameful way
yes.
to say that somebody did that, and so I apologies to if I said that, because it's now for me died by suicide, because it is a disease that you died by a heart attack, a diabetes, or alcoholism, or overdoses, things that we've talked about on this show. That's a changer for me right now. So that one, I mean, if you want to talk about, we need to help one person with this podcast.
Yeah.
You change. That's just, and I've been a part of this since Ryan came over to my house the night of that New Year's Eve. I'll never forget it. And it's almost 8 years, right?
This picture's blowing. Oh, I got it.
It's almost 8 years this New Year's Eve, right?
Yep.
So, so that it was. I was living out of a whiskey bottle and grieving my old man that passed away. But, and he came over, I'll never forget it. Like I was able to, I didn't know what to do. You don't know what to say. We all went over to Screech's and then you just fall apart, like thinking of you. And I will never forget that night. And that day, so I don't know. Anyway, about what I wanted to ask you, Julie, is people that have been on your side of it. And we'll talk about the prevention, but your message to the grieving mothers and fathers and even kids or parents that have died by suicide. What's your message to them?
That they need to talk to each other. And I mean, I'll tell you right now that our family, my support group was where I got my help and my support. And Ryan is the love of my life, and you don't know if he wants to talk about it or, so we don't. And sometimes I would make him, but like I said, I'm Norwegian, and Norwegians don't show their feelings and they don't talk. And that's kind of the way our family is. But I would say to bring your family closer together, and you have to talk to them.
Amen to that. That's, and I appreciate you. So when I was talking to Ryan about doing this, and saying you think it's a good idea to raise awareness, and he's like, yeah, but don't expect me to come on. So I'm gonna keep chipping away. He's good about it this time of year, and it's something about this time of year when we get ready for this walk. He's very good about. I mean, he's very good about organizing it, but he doesn't talk much about Randy or going through that. But every time I see that little grandson of yours, those blue eyes, right?
Yep, spitting image, and he has Randy's personality.
Before we let you go, I want you to talk a little bit about Randy, if you can.
He looked like me. He acted like me. He was funny, so friendly. Oh, you're Randy's mom? Oh, I just love him. From...
Was he an Eddie Haskell a little bit?
Oh, that's a good description. Yeah.
I remember that about him completely. Because he could butter up anybody. Mm-hmm. And Randy was a great protector of his friends and family. Oh, yes. I remember that about him. So I can see him, bullshitting right now. He other people that are here, his widow Lisa, right? She's here, isn't she?
Yes.
and she had mentioned she may want to come on, but I don't want to let you go. Uh-oh, that's the video.
I didn't know we were being videoed.
Oh, you look great. We didn't tell you on purpose. But if you don't want us to share the video, we don't have to. Is your phone okay?
Yeah.
This is an unedited podcast, so it's good to talk about I mean, it's great to talk about, be vulnerable about the really hard stuff, but maybe that was God's little way of sending us some laughter. Do you have any other thoughts you want to share, Julie? The microphone's yours.
No, I think I covered what my main thoughts are. I mean, when you asked me if I would do this, the first thing that I wanted to say was that about he died by suicide. That is
So glad
just
you did.
so huge to me. When she told me that, it was like the weight of the world was lifted off and I could breathe. You know, there wasn't this cloud of evil demons hanging over me, you know?
I'm so glad you said it because it's so like just thinking about it that the word and the stigma around the word committed, and it's such a shameful description now that you put it that way. So I appreciate you sharing that, and I am so honored to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad you're bringing it out and making it aware to everybody that
There's so much stigma, and it doesn't. And that's what I was saying at the beginning. That, like, you even notice. I've been to a couple funerals of people that have died by suicide, and there is even a difference in attendance, and it's a tangible stigma that you can touch and feel when you're there, and that's just incredibly fucking unfortunate. It needs to stop. It needs to change
for sure.
And then the other mission of before letting you go is the AFSP is the SP of it, the suicide prevention. and I think, like you said, the same thing is talking about it and just screaming from a mountain that there's help out there.
I mean, it's affecting so many young kids. Kids in grade school, middle schools. It's just awful.
There's no other way to put it. And to parents whose kids are noticeably struggling with depression, what's your message to them?
Seek help. I mean, I have to take medication for depression, and I feel like that's another stigma
Yeah.
that, as we get, my friends, we talk about medications and stuff we take, and, I'm on heart medicine, or I'm on medicine for arthritis. I'm on medicine for depression, but they don't treat me that way. But you still, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
You're not well in the head. But you have to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. And the help is out there. You just have to look in the right places, ask, talk, and it's available.
I'm a new parent. Jeff's approaching parenthood. His baby boy is due right around Christmas.
Due January 1st.
January 1st. You have a grandson, and he's turning 2 around Thanksgiving. For myself, and I see it with other parents, it's hard to ask for help when it comes to your kid, because you think, it's just a parent thing. That's my kid. I know how to handle it. I know what to do. I think that's bullshit. And I've heard you in this say that is bullshit in your own way. That it's okay and you should ask for help
Yeah.
with your kid. And especially because we're not professionals in everything, you know? We may think we are, but
It's hard raising children in this day and age. I'm so glad it's not me, because this world is, you have such a challenge to bring your children up with so many changes to thinking, and what you always thought was right is now not right. You know, it's a challenge to raise a child now.
well, that's I will. Me and Jeff are in for a ride. Then is what it sounds like. I'm most worried. Yeah, there's outlets for people to be angry towards other without any accountability. I think I see that on Twitter, on all the social media platforms, you can be a real jerk to someone anonymously and have no accountability, and kids have access to it, and that, I mean, you hear all the time about people dying by suicide because they've been bullied online. I mean, that's almost like a freaking epidemic.
Yes, the bullying.
Well, Julie, thank you so much. What's that?
I said I think Lisa needs to come.
Okay, are you running out of here?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. Can I give you a COVID hug here? Don't tell anyone. I love you. I do love you, and I love your sons.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope we make a difference.
Well, I promise you. I think we already did, because I feel a change in my own heart already.
All right.
Thanks, Julie.
Bye.
We'll grab Lisa. Take a quick break. All right, guys, we're back. So as I went to grab Lisa, Randy's widow, she threw a curveball, and sitting with us is Randy's daughter, Maddie.
Hello.
This is pretty. It's an honor to have you on.
Thank you.
You are just a beautiful young girl.
Thank
and, I know personally how much Randy loved you.
Yeah. He tried to raise me like his own daughter.
Yeah, absolutely he did. And he would, his life's mission was to protect you.
Yeah.
And Jeff, I was all ready for Lisa.
Yeah.
And, as hard as that conversation's going to be. Looking at Maddie's got me a little, this is good though. I love this. You're so brave to just sit here for a couple
Thank you.
minutes and talk about Randy with us. How old are you, Maddie?
16.
16. Shit. I mean, shoot, I have to be on my better behavior.
Yeah, watch your mouth.
No, you're fine.
But
I
if
don't
she's
care.
heard those words.
16-year-old kids don't hear those
Right.
words.
No, I've
She
never
heard them when
it.
Randy was here, trust me.
Right.
Are you driving yet?
Yeah, I drove here.
It's
It's
scary.
crazy. Yeah.
All right, when we leave the parking lot, I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to wait back 10 minutes. Just kidding. I bet you're a good driver. You're probably a better
I'm
driver
a pretty
than me.
good driver. I
Good.
drive pretty safe.
You go east, west?
East.
East.
Yeah.
Lancer Pride. So how are you doing with COVID and everything? Are you back?
Yeah, I mean, we went to school online for a while, and then now we're back half the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, at least you're getting to see your friends and
Yeah.
no boys, I hope.
Well,
Well, the answer is no. Of course not.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man, Maddie, if you can, thanks for being here. Why don't you
course.
talk a little bit about Randy from what you growing up?
Okay. He would always make me chop wood with him in the yard, and he'd always make me to go to yard work with him, and I hated it. But like looking back at it, it like grew me stronger as a person. So it definitely helped.
I was telling Jeff a little bit about Randy. See, Jeff never has met the Hoffs, or he's new to Belleville, St. Louis guy, and I'm introducing him to my extended family, whether he likes it or not. And I was telling Jeff, I kind of explained in the camo shirts and why we chose, like Lisa and Julie chose that color. Yeah, you don't find Randy inside very, very often.
Yeah, no.
You're braver than your Uncle Jack. Hey, Jack! She's braver than you.
He walked right away.
I want to ask kind of a hard question, maybe,
Okay.
Maddie. Being 16, going through the tragedy of losing your father figure
Yeah.
by suicide. It's hard being a teenager.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember it. There were parts of my teenage life that I absolutely loved, but it was hard, and I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble with the gender police out there, but I think it's really hard on girls.
Yeah,
to be a
there's a lot of beauty standards and other things, like
100%.
social things. Yeah, that go into it.
What would you tell kids, girls your age especially, if they're really struggling or feeling bullied or people are just freaking mean to them? I didn't swear. What do you do to? Because everybody experiences it, right?
Yeah.
How do you handle it? What would you tell your friends?
Well, I used to care a lot about what people thought about me, but after a while I just realized it didn't matter. And I'm going to not see a lot of these people after high school again. And I'm going to grow as a person. And those type of people that are bringing others down are going to stay down the rest of their lives. So
Well,
I just learned to grow over it and be nice.
I think that's what you said there at the end is key. Is being nice and being kind. I think if you in your friends and there's always people out there that are going to be mean to you, and they're probably struggling with things that nobody can see, so they take it out on other people.
Yeah.
If you focus on being kind, no matter what, I think it gives a good trajectory. I'm no psychologist or child psychologist or anything like that, but that's what I heard you say is focus on being kind and care less about what other people think about you.
Yeah.
And you're right. People do grow up and change, and you got a good head on your shoulder. I know that personally for a fact, and I know that it's hard. That your age is hard. So I want you to keep your chin up and keep
Thank
being
you.
kind.
Thank you.
Going through what you went through with Randy, I know how hard, and there's a lot of stigma around it.
Yeah.
We're trying to break that down. And we just had Julie on, and she talked a lot about asking for help.
Yes.
Do you think it's hard for teenagers to ask for help?
It definitely is, because there's a lot of, like you said, stigma around it, and people just think that somebody's over exaggerating whenever they say, oh, like, I hate it here or whatever. And people use like depression in the wrong term and just use it as like if they're having a bad day and they're like, oh, I'm so depressed today. And it really makes people that are actually depressed feel like they don't have anywhere to go because they're going to be overlooked.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, Jeff. That's a good point.
Yeah.
You're wise beyond your years, Maddie.
Thank
Found our third co-host.
Yes.
You're good at this.
Thank you.
So you doing well? Are you doing good?
I'm doing pretty well.
You guys, this is also a hard time too. I mean, the statistics for depression have gone way up.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic and people being stuck at home and not being able to see their friends, and we say see their friends, but it's socializing and it's not just a kid thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's human.
right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Listen to her.
Yeah.
So we found our new co-host, Maddie. You miss Randy?
Of course, every
right.
day. Yeah.
I was gonna see
Yeah.
if you wanted to. Besides doing all the yard work, what was your favorite part of
I just
Randy?
like spending time with him. He was just a fun person to hang out with. Even when I was little, obviously there's an age difference, but
He was a little. He would tease sometimes, wouldn't he?
yeah, definitely. I'm used to it. I just grew up that way. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you got thick skin.
Yes, definitely.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
I really think that you're gonna going through this horrible tragedy is going to make you the person you are, and you probably are already helping so many of your friends get through hard times.
Yeah, this kind of made me want to do something with like mental health whenever I'm older.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
I just want to help people. Thank you.
Well, Maddie, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
God bless you. We're praying for all you guys, and I think your journey is going to take you far. And,
Thank you.
You have such a big heart, and I know how much you care about other people, and I think you'll make the best mental health professional out
Thank
there.
you.
God bless you, man.
I will try. I'm not for sure that's what I want to do, but at least like on the side or something. Just
There you
help
go.
people. Yeah.
You don't have to decide today. That's the good news, right? I still don't know what I want to do, Jeff. I'm 37. Well, thanks for coming on. God bless you.
Of course. Thank
All
you.
right. Maddie, you have a great day. Enjoy
You
your
too.
weekend. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
She was great, huh?
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, guys, there's no way I can say anything to top that perspective. Wise young woman right there. And it is brutal in high school, man. For girls, it's fucking bad. I can curse now.
She's
not
gone.
married. Jeff, thanks for coming out doing this live at the park. It's a little chilly with the wind, but I got like 4 layers on, so you can't see my THO.
Yeah, we've got it's a little windy, and you're all going to hear some wind noise.
Yeah, and Julie doesn't speak that loud, so we'll make sure we're able to try to make sure you guys can hear her. Just turn the fucking thing up, right?
Yeah,
when you're listening, turn up the volume, you know. And then we better wrap it before the wind blows over Jeff's phone and breaks it. So, guys, thanks a lot to Julie, to Maddie, to all the folks out there that are struggling with mental health, chronic mental health, with the stigma around suicide. Talk about it. Talk to people. There is help out there. There's ways to prevent things from getting out of control, and just if it hasn't happened to somebody you know, it's only a matter of when, not if. So take it easy with the stigma, and just fucking support this organization, AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They're doing wonderful things, as Julie attested to, of picking her up after her most lowest rock bottom moment that a parent can never fucking imagine. So thanks for tuning in, guys. It was a important episode. Nice being out here at the park and around people that we love and care for. And last but not least, to honor a friend, one of my best friends in the world's brother, who I was also close with and cared for deeply. He was as you can tell by just a young girl that he helped raise, attested to. This is a shout out to you, Randy. Keep giving them hell up there, where the way you used to down here, and when somebody's trying to break up the fight, take it easy with the right hook. Give your mom a fucking black eye. Love you, brother. Randy, thanks for being you, and keep watching over this family. It's a great family, and the mission is so good. Thanks everyone for listening. Let us pray.
If you're struggling or know someone that is, please have them check out our podcast and reach out to Chris or me. We want to listen, and we're super eager to help. Pondoff's Anonymous is Chris Pondoff and produced by me, Jeff Allen. Our music is Anti-Hero by McCall and Gentle Waters by Wild Wonder. For more information, visit pondoffsanonymous.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram.